Well, hello, welcome to the new video. And in this video, we are testing the Range Rover Evoque plug-in hybrid. So this is the plug-in hybrid powertrain of the Facelifted Evoque, which, as you can see by the face, is looking more modern, more nowadays Range Rover-like, particularly with these minimalist lights. And they are also boasting a brand new technology of the Range Rovers. And of course, the car was improved in terms of aerodynamics. So we have these massive air curtains here on the front, really massive air curtain leading this way around the front wheel, around the front R20 wheels, and the front mask is really sort of really aerodynamic, really curved also in this direction, this direction. I really do like how they treated this car aerodynamically, which is really nice. And also we have these big front flaps in front of the tires, again cleaning the airflow. So while this car is the smallest but still rather large SUV, it's aerodynamically really well designed. Okay, now let's come to the wheels. So you can have 19 to 21 inch wheels. These are 20-inch wheels with a tire of 235/50 R20. It's actually a very good size of the tire, considering the car has 2.1 tons of weight. In terms of the positive caster on the front suspension, there is a decent amount of positive caster geometry, but not that big. And that is because the car doesn't need that big amount of positive caster because it has a very good weight distribution. In terms of suspension, we are running McPherson at the front and Multilink at the rear. Now, coming along the car, another thing that is very crucial is this massively curved front windshield, which again helps the aerodynamics of the car and making the drag coefficient as low as 0.32, which for how tall the car is and how big it is actually a really good number. And also considering how short it is, only 4.3 meters long, this car. So yeah, really good. And all of these glasses, all of them are acoustic glasses. So this car, that's why it feels premium. It is incredibly quiet inside. Then another aerodynamic element, you have these door handles, which they come up from the body, and when you're driving they are inside. And also this point where this windshield meets the roof is again very nicely curved, which I really do love. And then you have the sloping roof, coupe design of the roof going down, again prolonged by the aerodynamic roof spoiler as well as the side spoiler. I think the side spoiler could be designed also in this direction to be slightly larger, but I think it's a overall good design. But maybe they can improve to the next generation, they can improve the side spoiler. Yeah, okay, on this side we have the fuel tank, which is of capacity of 56 liters. Another thing very important to tell you is the battery, which is located here in the middle of the car down there, so it's very good for the balance, as I've said. Now coming to the rear of the car, and we can have a look at the geometry of the wheels. The geometry of the wheels is such that the car is using more negative camber at the rear as well as toe-in, and you can feel that toe-in in the corners. The car has really good agility for being 2.1 tons. Again, in terms of design, very sleek, very elegant. You have this black badging. It's a really beautiful looking car, the Range Rover Evoque. Let's come to the boot, which is 559 liters in standard. You have a separate space here for the cables to the car, and in terms of practicality, it's also a very good boot. So you have these hitches which you can open like this. You have a strap here and another sort of area on the side of here, and also a 12-volt socket as well as a strong LED light. Also, another thing that is quite premium is that while the door is electrically controlled, it is of much quieter design than we are used to in the non-premium cars. So that's pretty cool. Then we have to come to the left side of the car, where you have the charging. And having a premium plug-in hybrid car is that you have a DC charging for the battery, which is fantastic. So you have the DC charging. I was charging at most at 24 kilowatts, but the Range Rover states up to 32 kilowatts, and the charging times at 30 minutes in between 0 to 80%. And from my experience, that was 39 minutes. And in terms of AC charging, you have 7 kilowatts AC charging. You can drive on the electric powertrain alone up to 62 kilometers, and in terms of speed, up to 135 kilometers is what you can drive on the electric motor. The car has a battery of 14.9 kilowatt hours brutto and 11.5 kilowatt hours netto capacity. The electric motor gives the car 0.2 G deceleration, which is quite strong. And as I said, the battery is placed here. It also has a 6 millimeter thick steel under tray, which helps it while off-roading, so that you won't damage the battery. In terms of the brakes, we are running 349 millimeters front brakes and 325 millimeters rear brakes. Okay, let me sit inside the car and show you that even the smallest Range Rover is actually a very pleasant car to drive for the rear passengers. So just enough space for my knees, good space still for my feet, very happy for my head despite being a coupe shape. Yeah, very comfortable. Then in terms of practicality, massive door bin here in the door, strong speaker. You have the door sort of protection so that you won't get dirty after doing the off-roading, which is pretty cool. And then in terms of the central panel, you have the air conditioning here, two USB-C connectors, as well as a 12-volt socket, and also an armrest with cup holders. In the roof lining, you have two strong LED lights, and you can also opt for the very nice panorama, which gives the interior much more light, which I don't have in this case, but you can pay it as an option. And now let's have a look at the heart of the car. Let's have a look at the powertrain. And here we have it. So here is the engine. It's a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder Ingenium engine. This engine is producing 200 horsepower. On its own, it has a bore and stroke of 83 times 92.29 millimeters. It has a compression ratio of 10.5 to 1. It's a direct injection engine. And actually, for a 3-cylinder engine, 3-cylinder turbo, it's a really strong and powerful engine. It's working very well with the electric powertrain. And this car is all-wheel drive, and you have the rear electric motor of 109 horsepower for the rear wheels, and then this engine can also power the front wheels as well, and it's also charging the battery. So yeah, I really have to say I really quite like it. Well, here in the engine bay, what we can see is that engine is positioned transverse in front of the front center of the wheels, front center line of the wheels, and you have the rear mounted turbo here. Here is the air filter. Here is the intake. This car can wade up to 53 centimeters deep water. So it's still, even the smallest Range Rover is still a very incredibly capable car in off-roading. And this just proves it as well. And I think it seems to me high quality. You also have an aluminum engine mount here. So I really do like this engine bay overall. And now maybe another thing I need to tell you, come with me, is about the off-roadability of the car. So let's talk about the angles. So we have the approach angle of 22 degrees. Then the breakover angle is at 19.5 degrees, and the departure angle is the biggest because we have the shortest overhang here at 30.5 degrees. So even despite being the smallest Range Rover for sale currently, it is still an incredibly capable off-road car. And also particularly with the all-terrain response systems that you get. So really good. Now let me tell you more about the experience with such car by sitting inside the car, driving it further down the road, and telling you more about the experience with the Range Rover Evoque. Well, welcome inside the facelifted Range Rover Evoque plug-in hybrid P270 instead of the P300 there was before. And let's have a closer look at the interior first. So I really do like the interior. You can really feel that it's a premium car, and I just love the minimalism that is taken as an approach here. So really nice surfaces, really high quality, as you can have a look here on this plastic, and also on the door cards everywhere. And beautiful leather, nice leather seats with good support on my back, not so good for my thighs, but that's okay. This is a comfortable car. And then what I loved about the car at most, about the interior, is the infotainment of the car. My god, I never thought that the touch infotainment would be as good. Most of the things here are at most a two-touch operation. So for example, I want to do the air conditioning, there is one press, and that's about it. You also have the ventilation intensity and the heated seat settings. Then you want to change the modes. So that is pretty cool as well. So you can choose from comfort, eco, auto, and also the off-road modes, where you can choose from the grass, gravel, snow, mud ruts and sand. You can also have the weight sensing. This car can weigh up to 53 centimeters deep water, which is pretty cool. And then if you press these apps, you have another features in here. So you can have the low traction launch control, which I didn't use, but I should have used when I was in the mud, and stuff like this. In terms of turning off the assistance, long press for the lane assist, and then you have this another button on the left, and you press it twice to put the driver assistance on low. But there was no chance how to turn off the speed recognition. At least I didn't find. Then another thing that is quite premium about the car that you can feel is that you have these aluminium paddle shifters, aluminium trim in the steering wheel, aluminium trim throughout the dashboard. So yeah, you can really feel the premiumness of the car. Then the central console, still minimalist. You open it, in there you have the wireless charging, one USB-C connector for charging, a space for your wallet, just like this. And then further down you have the gear selector, you have two big cup holders and a double opening armrest with another USB-C inside. That is for multimedia. So yeah, sitting position in the car quite high, as this is a mid-size SUV, sort of the smallest Range Rover, or the Volvo or Jaguar SUV is the mid-size SUV in other cars, but compared to the interior, to the dashboard, actually quite a low position. I like the steering wheel, a really thin steering wheel, nice pedals, very tactile, or also very nicely curved, so you have a very good feedback from them. Yeah, so what I particularly like is the infotainment. I really do like it, also in terms of the design. And if you put the cameras, this car has, my god, it has plenty of cameras. It has loads of cameras, this car, and you can just check it all like this. It's just beautiful, and they are extremely sharp, extremely high quality, which I loved and adored. But anyway, I think let's start driving the car actually. So first thing we can talk about, as it is a plug-in hybrid, is the battery. So this car has the 14.9 kWh battery, which is positioned in the center of the car, in the floor, for the weight distribution reasons, of course. And this battery gives you the range of up to 62 kilometers, according to WLTP and Range Rover states. In reality, it gives you 48 kilometers real-world range. What I achieved at most, or at least from the data I have, in terms of like the photo in the phone, at 90% of the battery I had the range of 47 kilometers. So that means, so let's first talk about the battery. The battery in the car is 14.9 kilowatt hours in capacity and should give you the range up to 62 kilometers. Range Rover also states on their website the real world range is 48 kilometers, very proudly. And now let's come to the numbers, to the real experience. So what I achieved was at 90% of the battery I had 47 kilometers of range charge. So that means at 100% I would get something like 53%, which is even better than the Range Rover Stage. So that's actually pretty good. Another thing that you expect in a premium car is DC charging, and you do get a DC charging. So you have up to 32 kilowatts Range Rover Stage DC charging and 7 kilowatts AC charging. What I achieved in my experience was 25 kilowatts DC charging, but of course that might be because I didn't precondition the battery, which you can in the app, which I didn't have installed. Even despite that, the lower power, I still had the charging time from like this 5%, that is the minimum capacity, up to 80% in around 38-39 minutes, which I think is still pretty cool and very comfortable actually when using the car. Yeah. And so that also brings us to the fuel consumption. So if you charge the car when you can, the fuel consumptions are extremely low for a 2,145 kilogram car that this car is. The fuel consumption at that time are 5.8 liters per 100 kilometers, which is really cool, and you get a really good range out of the 56 liter fuel tank this way. But when you don't charge the battery, you average, like I do now, 7.2 liters for 100 kilometers, which is still very reasonable, I think, for such a big and heavy car. So I quite like it. The only disadvantage of the plug-in hybrid is, of course, when you have a discharged battery and you are on the motorway there, despite quite a good aerodynamic drag coefficient of only 0.32, the car is 9.2 liters at 140 kilometers per hour, which is actually, you could say, quite a lot. So yeah, when you're buying this plug-in hybrid, you really need to charge the car, otherwise you won't be getting as good fuel consumption. Now here comes the corner, and maybe I just want to show you how the car handles. So 2.1 ton goes into the corner, and as you can hear the tires squealing. The rear is actually nice for rotation because we have a massive toe in. But anyway, let me come back one last time for the fuel consumption. So when you have a separate journeys that you drive with the charged battery, you can drive in around 1.2 liters, maybe up to 2 point something liters if you need to use the engine quite often. So extremely low numbers with the charged battery, again, when you're driving around the town or around the B roads behind the town. So I was really actually happy with this. Then let me come to the normal driving like this. So the car is extremely comfortable, which is the biggest difference you feel when stepping into the premium car. They've done their homework on the aerodynamics. We have a massively curved windscreen, and my God, you can feel it. You can feel it. We also have the acoustic windows around me, all of them. So yeah, the noise levels are incredibly low. I measured at 53 decibels only on the motorway at 130 kilometers, which is really crazy low number. So I absolutely really did love this. Then the car is very posh, very comfortable. The steering is very lightweight. I wouldn't call it ever a sporty steering wheel. It is decently precise. Maybe at times it feels too fast, steering rack for the car, but my God, it's really posh, really comfortable. You don't get loads of vibrations through it, and also through the seats. The car is extremely comfortable in the NVH, the vibrations department. Such a posh and comfortable car. But don't be fooled into thinking that it's soft. This car actually, when you're going straight on the road and you have a bumpy road, is actually quite stiff in this direction. So it has a very good body control. It lands first on the rear, so that gives you a really nice balanced feel during driving. Yeah, but it is actually quite stiff. The body rigidity and the feeling from the dumping is actually quite stiff. Only the vibrations of the car and the steering, that's where it is comfy, and the noise levels. Yeah. So let's now talk about the powertrain. So under the bonnet we have the 1.5 liter turbo Ingenium engine, 3-cylinder engine, and now the Range Rover plug-in hybrid is called P270E, and that is because the petrol engine power, the IC power, went down from 200 horsepower to 161 horsepower, which is mostly due for the reliability concerns. You know, having a three-cylinder engine with 200 horsepower is actually quite a lot, so they went down with the power, and we have 270 horsepower in total, 540 Newton meters of torque, taking us to 100 kilometers, still in a whisk, 6.8 seconds. So this car, as you might hear from the numbers, it actually feels quite dynamic. I can show you. So just press it and look at it, 110, 120, 130, 140, and now I have discharged battery. So yeah, it is a quite dynamic car, this, and it also is very shortly geared. You only go like around only 400 RPMs low when you change up each time. We have an 8-speed ZF automatic transmission. Probably it's the best transmission that you can get, and again, you need such a good transmission in a premium car. My god, it's a lovely transmission. It works really well in the manual mode. I really liked using it. Then another thing about the powertrain, so how it works as a plug-in hybrid. It works like most. So it first tries to drive at most as it can on the battery itself, on the electric engine, 109 horsepower, and then the IC starts up. But if you want to drive it as a better hybrid, you can engage the petrol engine with pressing the plus pedal on the gearbox, on the steering wheel. So this way you can drive it like a normal hybrid. That's pretty cool. And you have 3 options. So you can have hybrid, EV, and the safe mode to charge the battery with your engine as well. So that's how it is with this powertrain. Then coming to the cornering of the car, this car is very well set up, but there is no going around of the high center of gravity, high seating position, big weight, and yeah, so this car is of course not loving the corners, but it can drive with a really nice pace through them still. So this car has quite a big amount of positive caster, and as I said, the geometry, you are running big toe in at the rear for the agility of the car because of its weight. And I have to say, while at the start of the corner, it feels a little bit unstable, also because of the steering, because you don't have much feeling. Then it sort of lands on the wheel and squats and just keeps the grip. So I think it's actually decent. But when you need to do some critical maneuver, there is a load of ESC going back and fighting with the car to keep it in control, to keep the body in control, and not making it understeer crazily. So this car is really precautious in this direction. So yeah, you can definitely drive this car at pace. It just isn't at home at doing it. Yeah. So yes, I think that would be about it. What I wanted to tell you, and what is the experience with the Range Rover Evoque P270e plug-in hybrid. Well, and if you liked the video and found it useful, well, keep watching, keep subscribing, because more videos are coming on very soon, and I hope to see you in the very next video. In the meantime, take care of you, and goodbye.